Hello students, the topic is osteology of lumbar vertebra. The lumbar vertebra, they are 5 in number, out of which first 4 are typical lumbar vertebra and the 5th one is atypical lumbar vertebra. Now, lumbar vertebra can be identified by its large size, right? Then second point of identification is absence of costal facets on either side of the body. Like we have done in the thoracic vertebra, these are the costal facets. They are absent on the lumbar vertebra, right? And by the absence of the foramen transversarium, like that we have done in the cervical vertebra, right? So this is about the identification points for the lumbar vertebra. They are 5 in number, L1 to L4. They are L1 to L4. They are typical lumbar vertebra, and L5 is atypical lumbar vertebra. Now starting with the typical lumbar vertebra, it has got a massive body, that is the body is large, wider from side to side than before backwards, and the height of the body is slightly greater on the anterior side than on the posterior side, which is responsible for the forward convexity of the lumbar spine, right? Then second point is the vertebral foramen, which is triangular in shape, and this vertebral foramen, it is larger than that of the thoracic region, right? And this vertebral foramen, it is smaller than that of the cervical region. Then third point is the pedicels. They are short and strong. They project backwards from the upper part of the body, so that inferior vertebral notch is deeper than the superior, right? Then the fourth point is lamina. They are short, thick and broad. They are directed backward and medially, as you can see, to complete the vertebral foramen posteriorly, right? And the overlapping between the lamina of the adjoining vertebra is minimal. Now the fifth point is spine or spinous process. This is spine or spinous process. As you can see, it is in the form of vertical quadrilateral plate, and this spine is directed almost backwards and slightly downwards, and it is thickened along the posterior border and inferior border. This is about the spine. Now next is the transverse process. It is thin and tapering transverse process, directed laterally and slightly backwards. Then this transverse process, it is homologous with the ribs in the thoracic region. Now important point here is to note this transverse process, its posterior-inferior aspect on the root of the transverse process. Here is a small rough elevation. This is known as accessory process. Here it is more clearly seen over here. This is known as accessory process, which represents the true transverse process of the vertebra. Now the length of the transverse process, it increases from L1 to L3 and thereafter it decreases, right? Now next is the superior articular processes projecting upwards. This superior articular process, they lie farther apart than the inferior articular process. Distance is more than in this superior articular process than of the distance in the inferior articular process. Another important point is superior articular process bears concave facet, which is directed backward and medially, right? Which is directed backwards and medially. Now this posterior border of the superior articular process, here again a rough elevation over here, this one on the posterior border, and this is known as mammillary process. It is known as mammillary process. Now last point of the typical lumbar vertebra is inferior articular process, right? They lie closer to each other than the superior one, comparatively closer, right? And they bear convex facet, which is directed forwards and laterally. By the time we are done with typical lumbar vertebra, next we will start with atypical lumbar vertebra. So this is atypical lumbar vertebra, and only L5 is included in that, right? fifth lumbar vertebra. This is fifth lumbar vertebra. Now the most distinguished feature of fifth lumbar vertebra is, first of all, is transverse process in fifth lumbar vertebra. It is thick. This is thick and short, and their base is attached to the whole thickness of the pedicles, and they encroaches to the side of the body, right? Then second point is the distance between the inferior articular processes. Distance is either equal or more than the superior articular process, right? Then next is this facet on the superior articular process, they are facing more backwards than medially, and these facets on the inferior articular process, they are facing more forwards than laterally, right? Then fourth characteristic feature is the spine is small, short and rounded at the tip. Spine, it is small, rounded and short. It is rounded at the tip, right? The body is the largest of all lumbar vertebra. Its anterior surface is more deeper than the posterior surface, and this is responsible for the creation of sharp lumbosacral angle, right? So this is about the atypical or fifth primary centers, one for the body or centrum, and one each for each half of the neural arch. Now these three centers, they appear in third month of fetal life, and the two halves of neural arch, they fuse with each other posteriorly during the first year, and they fuse with the centrum during the 6th year. This is all about the primary centers. Now there are 7 secondary centers. First is an upper annular epiphysis for the upper surface of body, then a similar epiphysis for the lower surface of body, then one center for the tip of each transverse process, then one center for each mammillary process that is present on the posterior border of the superior articular process, right? And one center for the tip of spine. So this is all about the primary and secondary centers. Now failure of the fusion of two half of the neural arch, that results in spina bifida. Sometimes the body ossifies from two primary centers, and if one center fails to develop, it results in hemivertebra. So this is all about lumbar vertebra. We have done typical and atypical both, along with the ossification. Thank you.